broadcast for shooters, hunters, and gun enthusiasts. This is the Firearms Radio Network. The bandwidth for this episode of Gun Guy Radio is sponsored by Patriot Patch Company. PatriotPatch.co.
Welcome to episode 208 of Gun Guy Radio. This is a podcast that shines a positive light on the firearms lifestyle. I'm your host, Chick Challen, and this is your weekly dose of positive firearms talk without the politics. And we have Abs of House of Guns and House of Arms on the show tonight. Hey, Abs.
Hey, Jake. Thanks for having me, buddy.
It's good to have you on. Week in review. Did you do anything in guns this week?
I sold several guns over the past couple weeks. I know they say you should never do that, but I was sitting on some pricey gems that are a little bit sought after, and nobody can get them for a fair price. Let's just say that. So because I came across them very affordably, I was able to turn them around and do it pretty quick because nobody else on Gunbroker could compete. Got some new magazines in from Jagman. They're Glock magazines. I don't know if you've heard of these guys. They're polymer mags.
No, I haven't.
Jagman or Jageman, one of my friends in the industry who was formerly with DRT Ammo, branched over, and now he's working as their lead sales guy. And so those just showed up today. Kind of an interesting take on Glock magazines because they're longer. But so instead of just having the normal base plate on the bottom, it's kind of got these sleeves on the side that make it look like an extension. But it's not. There's no weak point because the plate's still at the bottom. It's just the overall magazine sleeve itself that's longer.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I've only seeded them. Haven't got a chance to shoot them yet. Hopefully we'll get to do that this weekend. I've got another suppressor, a Liberty Centurion. It's their 9mm or a multi-cal really, but based off the Mystic X, just shorter. And it's only a 6-inch, but primarily a pistol can or 9mm carbine, that type of thing. And that my Form 3 for transfer to my Class 3 dealer finally cleared. I think that's one of the longest Class Form 3 waits for a NFA transfer that I've had yet. I think it was probably 10, 11 weeks, something like that. And typically they're more like 6. Really? So, yeah, they're probably sitting on their thumbs over there in Atlanta. Who knows?
Very cool. This week, didn't get out to really shoot or anything. I inventoried some ammo and just got a notification that I had a mag packer ship. And it's one of those. Yeah, if you've seen them, you've probably seen videos of them on the interwebs. It's like a wood tabletop, I don't know, thing that you lay out for an AR-15, you lay out the bullets in the magazine, and just one swift motion, you shove all the rounds into the magazine. So, interesting to try that out. And this one's going to be pretty cool. It has our Patriot Patch logo engraved on it. So.
Oh, that'll be cool.
So, yeah, and been looking at actually some of the stuff we're going to talk about this episode, looking at some vehicle storage options, so we'll get into that later. Amazon helps make this episode possible when you shop with our Amazon affiliate link. Click over to firearmsradio.tv and click those Amazon banners or links, or you can bookmark firearmsradio.tv/Amazon. I also have a few vehicle storage options in the show notes that are Amazon affiliate links. You can check those out, and there's a lot of gun-related items on Amazon. There's a lot of gun stuff that's not on there, but there's still a fair amount on there. So also consider checking that out and using our link.
That's pretty clever.
And Patriot Patch helps keep this episode free for you. Head on over to patriotpatch.co. Have new short sleeve Freedom shirts in stock. We also have other new short sleeve shirts in stock, and brand new Four Guys Guns swag over there on Patriot Patch. Have Four Guys Guns patriotic themed bundle of T-shirts and patches that will ship in time for July 4th. So head on over to patriotpatch.co/FGG to check that out.
Do you shop on Amazon? How about your spouse? Does your mom? Does your company? Why not use the Firearms Radio Network's Amazon affiliate link next time you shop Amazon? Bookmark firearmsradio.tv/Amazon or click through the Amazon link in the right-hand corner of firearmsradio.tv. Get it? Got it? Amazon it.
Main topic this week, vehicle carry, storage do's and don'ts for inside your car or truck, or even, I guess, even pertain to SUV, camper, stuff like that. So let's first talk about on your person. This is something I don't think a lot of people consider, especially before they start carrying a handgun. Last week we talked about carrying, a handgun for the first time if you're newer to the gun world or newer to concealed carry, some of the do's and don'ts of that, and we really didn't get into the vehicle arena, but on body carry inside the vehicle. What do you think, Ebbs? What are some considerations there?
Well, let's just preface this by saying, if you're going to have something within reach, make sure that it's not loose and flailing around. We've covered on This Week in Guns the horror stories of people having guns in their cars and then accidents happening as a result. Kids getting a hold of them or picking one up wrong, particularly the Florida mom whose kid shot her with her 45 in the front from the back seat. If you're not going to have it in your person, have a vehicle holster solution available. If we're specifically talking about handguns here. Otherwise, I like to carry any pistol that I carry, and I rotate between 3 daily. I don't use all 3 in one day, but my daily carries rotate between a heavily modified Glock 19, a complete Agency Arms Glock 43, and then a bare bones Ruger LCR-X. That's a 38 special with the polymer frame and the full hammer spur. So it's a double action, single action. And I love the holster options I have, that I have for each of those, because they allow me to move freely, get in and out of the car, and then if I am seated within the car, be able to reach it readily should, somebody come up the driver's door, try some silly business, stuck in traffic, foot traffic comes up along the side, whatever the scenarios are. I don't mean to sound like a complete wacko, but these, if you're prepared enough to carry a gun, then you've gone through the scenarios in your mind to what could happen. So if you're going to take it out when you get in the car, is it secure? Do you move, the holster from your waistband or a pocket or a cargo or something like that to a secure place that's holstered where the trigger is covered inside the car, but that you could reach it in a similar scenario? I could still draw faster from my waist where I carry outside of the car when I am inside the car, and make sure the seatbelt is situated properly so that if I get in an accident, the heel of the Glock 19 doesn't impale my pancreas upon constricting against the seatbelt.
Right, and some people will, when they sit in the car, they'll switch to like a appendix carry or maybe even a cross draw carry position, or some people. Some people
go Old West as soon as you get in the driver's seat with the cross draw.
Right. Well, and once you kind of figure out what works for you inside a vehicle, that might change how you even carry outside the vehicle, just so you don't have to change anything.
Yes.
Once you hop in the car.
And that's one reason I like appendix carry with a quality holster to begin with, getting in and out of the vehicle. I'm paranoid about touching my carry in the public eye. I don't if that even sounded like something gross or if it made sense at all.
You made it gross.
I don't want to adjust my carry pistol within full view of everybody. Right. Even, in the past, I've cracked the driver door open and kind of step in that crease where, you're not entered into the car, but you're right there on the edge of it, so you can move stuff around.
Well, we've had stories on This Week in Guns about. I remember one story of a grandfather that was just he was doing something similar, adjusting his gun or something, getting out of the car at Walmart, and someone called the police on him and called the SWAT team in and everything.
Which, yeah. I mean, I've heard stories of someone being in a grocery store. But when I say I've heard stories of someone, this person told me this story. They were in the grocery store. They were in an aisle, thought they were in the aisle by themselves, and they were carrying kind of at about the 4:30, 5 o'clock position, rear hip, but past 3 o'clock, and lifted his shirt up to pull his pants up, and then fixed the cant on his holster. Somebody came around the corner, saw it, screamed, called 911 from the grocery store. There was a huge altercation, and I don't want to be seen. So if I can carry in a way, if you can see 100% that you're by yourself, that's fine. I remember the first month that I carried a pistol concealed, I thought people could see it on me at all times. I was wearing see-through clothes, like a shower curtain that's just a little smoky, but you can see through it. And even though I was concealed well, I was positive that everybody in public could see the pistol that was under my shirt. Now, the reality of that situation is that people just are not that observant. They're meandering through their day, clueless most of the time. So you can get away with a lot. At the same time, I'm in public parking lots, a lot of foot traffic, stuff like that all over. I want to be able to get in and then have it within easy reach once I'm seated inside of the car to situate how I need to get the seatbelt fastened around it, like I said before, so that it's safe and out of sight.
Absolutely. So on person, now let's go to off-body, and we're splitting off-body carry into two categories here. One is temporary off-body, as if you're just hopping in the vehicle and you're not permanently leaving the gun there. It's not like a truck gun type scenario. But then off-body permanent is maybe somewhere, if it's legal, where you have a permanent storage, maybe a permanent safe in your console, something like that, where you permanently maybe have a primary or secondary firearm in your vehicle at all times. So first we'll hit on temp. And actually, before we go to temp, I wanted to mention that, vehicles vary a lot just between maybe the vehicle you drive and the vehicle your wife drives or something like that, or even years, makes, and models, or years of the same make, like going from, I drive an old 96 Suburban, going from that to I rented a 2015 Suburban for a month last year.
That's like a spaceship in comparison.
It's like a cockpit. You get in it and you're like, you feel all sucked in, even though it's the same size vehicle, it's a big SUV. But you get in the new Suburbans compared to my Suburban, it's like a cockpit where everything is so close to you. And I could not draw my gun if I needed to, like I could in my other Suburban.
Yeah. It literally hugs around you. The interior does.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think they do that for safety and also convenience, where they have so many more options in them and the airbags and everything. Mm-hmm. But maybe not even that. Maybe going from a SUV down to a smaller car. So you got all kinds of scenarios there that you need to think about. Or like me, renting a car, going completely out of my comfort zone into something completely different. So there's all kinds of things to think about there. Anyways, let's get into off-body temporary carry. So this is where you decide, maybe you're a road warrior and you drive for hours and hours on end and you're just not comfortable having that on you. Like, I know when I drive long periods of time, I'll take my wallet out, and try to make things more comfortable. I might even take all my keys out of my pocket and stuff like that. And so maybe you're going to want to, for whatever reason, take that firearm off your person. Now, I know there's a lot of options out there now where it's like a holster mounted under the steering wheel or mounted to the side of the console, or, there's stuff like that. I know some people will just use a regular, everyday, like Phobos holster and put it in that and put it loose in the car. And, as you said, don't have it loose where it could, in an accident, go flying somewhere. I know people do that as well.
Well, I mean, I think some people might consider something loose that I might not. I mean, I keep my center consoles between the two front seats in both of my vehicles empty, so that holstered I can place my firearm in there if need be. If I'm going to the post office and I can't take it in, I can park. Fortunately for me, my main post office has a business park sort of building next door, so I just park there,
right,
and then walk across the lawn. Really to follow the letter of the law, and that would be loose. And sometimes I won't put it back on immediately. I'll forget, so I'm driving with it, quote, loose.
Well, that's a good scenario to bring up. And yeah, in all 50 states, you can't even have a gun in your vehicle on post office property.
Well, federal property.
Or federal property, right. Except for federal parks. National parks.
Right, that's true. Well, that's different between federal national parks and federal government facilities.
It's so confusing.
It is awful. They hate us. We are their subjects for sure.
But you bring up a good point. I'm sorry to interrupt, Ebbs.
Nope.
I'll get you back on track here in a second. But temporary off-body, in your vehicle could also mean you're going into a place of business that doesn't allow firearms. Could be a lot of states. It's like a bar in a lot of states that you can't carry inside a bar for whatever the state's statute is about that. So you may have to leave in your car for a short period of time for that purpose. Anyways, Ebbs, go
well,
ahead.
No, you even mentioned the Phobos. I don't know, it depends on how in love you are with the interior of your vehicle, but we've seen a lot of the fancy magnet style holsters that go under the dash. You mount the one magnet, then the opposite polarity magnet is on like the holster itself, but there's enough poundage there that you can draw the gun and it doesn't bring the holster with it. I've seen on Instagram. I haven't ever seen one in person. Clint Walker posts about them all the time, like the cup holsters where they take a Serpa. This is like literally the only thing a Serpa is good for because like it shoots down like, well, I accidentally shot my transmission. Right. But it actually, they mold it around the cup holder, and I think they call it a cup holster.
Yeah, those are cool.
And they are. They kind of fit with the chic of the vehicle. And you're riding along. I mean, that vehicle here in Colorado anyway. That vehicle, your interior of your vehicle is considered an extension of your home. So that treat it however you want. Keep a firearm within reach, whatever. Wouldn't recommend leaving it out in plain sight in the cup holster when you go into the store. That's like taking a Sharpie on a piece of cardboard and writing "Steal Me" on and taping it to the window when you get out. But those are interesting too, and so I don't think there are necessarily poor options. I think we're branching over probably from off-body temporary into off-body permanent. However, I think you're probably talking more along the lines of non-concealed carry guns in that scenario. Where
were you going with the Phobos thing? I thought you were going someplace with that.
Right. Some people, there are the fancy ones, and then I've seen guys take, like Phobos was a perfect example, and the green light went off. I used to have a pickup truck. It was a Dodge Dakota that I liked and didn't love, and I had a Phobos paddle holster that I took apart and then and drilled the paddle to the bottom side of the dash under my steering wheel, out of the way of my knees, but where I could draw. And it was for a Glock 17 22 and would also fit a 19 size pistol, just a little bit longer on the nose end. And worked really well. It was like the best use of a Phobos holster I feel like I've ever seen. I was so proud of myself. It felt like I just accomplished like a custom $150 Savoy leather holster in my pickup truck. And if I was going on long road trips and didn't want to deal with the constant in and out concealed carry, I would leave concealed carry in my luggage, and I would load up the 22 the Glock 22 and have it there constantly available. And if I was going to get out of the vehicle and leave it overnight or something, because it was up where it could, if somebody shined a flashlight in, even with tinted front windows, you could see under the dash, so you could see the gun, and I would take it in with me. But to have there and not knowing that I was the only place I was going to be all day was in the car, it was pretty handy to have.
Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't have to be a Phobos, but that like $20 range of holster that is molded for your gun, but very affordable. Where
molded is so important. Make sure there's retention
right
there, so there's a snap or some sort of locking situation, because you get an even fender bender and that sucker goes flying. Things could get ugly if you chose an Uncle Mike's.
Well, that's true. That might be one of the only scenarios for a cheap nylon holster with the snap over the back that would retain it. More of a universal type option, but I might be okay with that.
I wouldn't. I'm still not.
No,
we can't allow that. Not even the thought of that being okay persuades me in the least.
So
those buttons are awful. They're so shallow.
Yeah, they are so pretty easily. Terrible. So there's all kinds of options for temp and permanent as far as lock boxes. There's lots of lockable custom center consoles that you can get to replace your center console, or there's also ones that you can kind of take the insert out of your center console, and this, some of these are form factor fit to replace that insert and be a lockable solution. Of course,
I think I saw. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, of course, any of them, given long enough, a thief could probably pry out, but would keep smash and grabs from taking them.
Yeah. I think it was. I'm trying to remember the garage, but I'm almost certain it's one of the ones in San Antonio that Tim Duncan owns, the NBA player. And they've put out some kind of stealth finish vehicles that they've custom fabricated 1/4-inch steel lock boxes. Have you seen those?
No, I don't think
I don't. I'll have to do a search and see if I can find it, and we can put it in the show notes maybe. But it's super rad, and I don't remember when I saw it originally. I don't remember if it was on a show or like a NBA on TNT sidebar or something ridiculous like that. But it was the one that sticks out in my head that I remember specifically was a Dodge Challenger. And the thing was just all matte, murdered out, and they were but on the inside, and then they had a huge locking trunk in the trunk and under the rear seat, and then the center console. They were we removed the center console or the insert or something, and then they had fit it into it and then secured it. They were we didn't even secure it to the body. We secured this to the chassis, so it's not going anywhere. And all this, it's totally overkill. You saw that and go, okay, I could get behind that.
Yeah, and you could. I have a locking cabinet on my wall with an AR-15 in it, and something like that, you could weld that or bolt that to inside of a trunk or back of an SUV, which I've thought about doing that as well. So you could come up with more of a budget solutions that you can make work for stuff like that. But yeah, let's get into off-body permanent. I guess that's what we're kind of in here. If it's going to be permanent in there all the time. Now, at the bottom of the show notes here, quick note, I have a legality section. Section,
Good.
Know Your Gun Laws. A couple websites you can check out. There's more websites, too, about keeping, as far as keeping a gun in there long term. Some states will look at that much different than if you're a concealed carry holder and just put it in there while you run in the stop and rob or something. Which you probably shouldn't put your gun away if you're going in a place like that.
Stop and rob.
So, check your laws. Every state's different. 50 different laws for 50 different states. So make sure you do your research before committing to any of these long-term storage solutions. But, Yeah, like I was just saying, there's lots of custom solutions out there. You can probably have a body shop or someone that's a fabricator. Find a custom solution for your specific vehicle if you really want to go all out custom. But I don't know what Ebbs, what do you think some other long term solutions could be?
Well, I went through a mindset. I have a friend that gets information that I trust, and a lot of the warnings that he sends across the wire sort of pan out. And so I want to say last year, around the time of the San Bernardino spree killing, I thought I might need something in my everyday vehicles more than just a concealed carry. And again, I'm not. I mean, you would probably agree, Jake, for anybody listening, I'm not an extremist when it comes to, and I'm not lackadaisical when it comes to firearms, but in terms of scenarios, I don't have a shelf in the back of my Jeep that's got like emergency candles and beans. And, I have the med kit and I have emergency roadside kit. And then I have a rifle and a half dozen loaded mags ready to go, just in case, because I don't want to be caught with my pants down, because it's there. Okay. It's there if I need it. It's locked in the garage at night if I'm not, it doesn't get left outside overnight or anything like that. It's well hidden, well concealed. But it's in a spot. It's also in a case, but it's a case in a spot that I can get to quickly if I absolutely needed to. It's not rattling around in the trunk empty, but it's at the same time, it's a gun that I don't care about as much, if that makes sense.
Right.
I know it's reliable. I know it's accurate, and I'm confident with the specific platform. It's not an AK. I've told a bunch of people that, and they're like, "Are you kidding me? It's not an AK. You preach AKs all the time. It's not an NFA gun that I have a stamp on that's on my trust. So that heaven forbid if it were to get stolen." And then, then you get people saying, well, what if it gets nabbed? What if somebody goes through your car, or, breaks in and sees something and then they end up taking your gun? Well, that person was going to get a gun. If they're going to do something not admirable with it, they were going to get a gun, whether it was mine or not.
Right.
I'm sorry if that sounds irresponsible. That's just the way that I see it. But for the past 13, 14 months, whenever San Bernardino was last year, I had primarily been concealed carry only, save for trips. Going away from home, I would pack sometimes a rifle and a shotgun, just depending on my level of paranoia and how many people I had to protect. So I have something bigger than concealed carry close by, within a few paces at all times. And I don't think it's a bad thing to consider if you haven't. I think there's more thinking that's different from preparing to have a concealed carry gun that you constantly know where it is and it's with you all the time if you leave your vehicle during the day or something like that. There's safety to consider. Do you have kids? There's like my kids know that I have guns and they know where they are and they know, but they're not in a position where, like, I'm going to tell my 10-year-old, okay, you know where it is. Somebody beats down the door. Like, they're not ready for that yet.
Right.
So they understand the presence and they're not fearful of it, but they respect it.
Yeah, I think having a long rifle or shotgun in your vehicle at all times is a great option if it's legal for you in your locale. But yeah, definitely having it properly secured if you have kids especially. Another thing to consider for long-term vehicle storage would be the elements. They're exposed to wet and humidity a lot more than if they were just at home in your gun safe. So temperature changes, fluctuations could really affect them. So it's probably you should probably work into your routine of just doing a checkup, making sure the lube looks good and there's no surface rust forming or anything like that. And in fact, the vault that I have on my wall that I mentioned that I could probably mount in a vehicle for an AR-15, I actually originally bought it for that. and I never completely executed that idea, but now it's got me thinking again.
Yeah, and I've heard of people. So, for instance, let's say just get creative. Think creatively. How are you, like, if you're doing it in your home and where? So I talk about keeping the concealed carry pistol on me when I'm in the vehicle. I do the same thing when I'm in the house. Call me crazy, but unless I'm like getting dressed for bed or something like that, I've got whatever daily was on me or is closest tucked in, because my front door is not always locked, or my kids play outside, or I don't want to have to find it. Okay. So think the same way when it comes to inside your vehicle. Are there compartments, or there spots like, do you, in the trunk of your car, if you have something that's collapsible, or maybe you've got a pinned 14.5-inch rifle that you're like, man, it might be good for that. And you've got a Law Tactical full rear stock folder on it, and it can get small, but you carry a spare tire somewhere else, but there's that compartment, under the rear part of your trunk, and your trunk's not always full of crap. So if you open up the trunk, you could just lift that compartment up and it's there. Vehicles, they can surprise us. And I've seen even cool options SUV wise, with roof mount stuff that is out of plain sight. People never look, when they look at a car, if they're being snoopy, they never think to look at the roof. They look at the seats or the floorboard or the consoles and stuff like that. And I've seen some pretty cool roof carry options that aren't locked, but they're secure. And so it's like a manual, it's like a manual latch that you have to undo in order to get it down and get it available. Stuff even behind seats, and if you have a single cab pickup behind the seat, and do you have room between the bench or the seat to reach back and get something that's secured to the back of the cab, or things like that. There's a lot of options, but be smart about it. We're not in the days of gun racks in the rear windows of pickups anymore, really.
Well, right, absolutely. And there's also a lot of good options for law enforcement that are also available to civilians, for long rifles, for shotguns. There's a lot of options like that just lock around the receiver of the firearm. So it's, visible, but if it's like behind a seat or somewhere that's otherwise hidden, that might be a good option for you.
Are the triggers covered on those? Do you know, or is that just where it locks? Is like on the
a lot of the ones I've seen. No, a lot of the ones I've seen, the triggers are covered. Other ones they may not be, but yeah, that's definitely something to take into consideration. But
interesting thought, though. I've always wanted to have, especially in my Jeep, is the shotgun mount for between the seats, with the muzzle pointed to the floor pan. Right. And I always thought, man, that would be so cool. But it's right there within plain sight, and like my Cherokee is not. It's manual locks, and
like if you lived in the country and that was like your weekend truck or something.
Yeah,
that'd be cool. Yeah,
take it camping and you're nearby it all the time or whatever. Yeah. Or when you get out, the shotgun goes with you. Then it's no big deal at all. But yeah, those are cool options too. And like we were talking about with the even permanent for pistol, being able to use those options where you can go under the dash or the cup holder or the center consoles. I don't know. Let's see, what was it? A couple years ago, we traveled to visit family in Missouri, and I rented a late model Chevy Malibu, and it had one of the consoles on the dash where it's like above the stereo and kind of like by the clock, but it was kind of spacious even. And I thought, between like me and my 19 and then my wife at the time, her SIG P238, they both fit in there. And I was like, man, this is, whoever designed this made this car for concealed carry in mind. Thank you for that, designers at Chevrolet. I think it was a 2015 Malibu.
Yeah, and that 2015 Suburban I rented, the radio, it was a big radio like DVD screen, and you hit a button and it would lift up, and there was a hidden compartment behind it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Look at how bumpkin are we? We're like so excited about this kind of, and my Maxima, my 2003, between the seats, the center console, it has like two portions to it. So it has like the lid, and then that lifts up. There's a little tray, but then you close that, and then there's another button below that leads to the center console. It's deep and roomy, and like you'll fit the Glock 19 or the 43 or the 38 all in there, no problem. And then it's deep, but it's not super long. So there's not like when you break, you don't go, oh, I heard the pistol rattling around in the console. That's not a good idea.
Right.
But yeah, so many friendly options. It's even as you think about it, think about the limitations that we have getting comfortable with a pistol for concealed carry on your person. You think about, especially when you're brand new to it. I remember this is like 2008 when I first got my carry permit in Missouri. You know what I was looking at? I was looking at small of back holsters almost exclusively. I was enamored with them because I thought, here I'm a dude, 6'3", 230 pounds, kind of a big butt. And, but a little at the time, a little bit of a belly, some love handles. I'm going, every time I try to stick a pistol on my waist or in the front. And at the time, appendix carry was, gangster wannabe, don't go there type stuff. It was not popularized nearly as much. And I lived in a small town, and the guys in the gun shop, trash talking this and that. No, you need to open carry. You need to do this. And I got a Galco small of back holster for a Glock 26. And I thought, man, this is going to cure all my issues. It's going to hide it perfectly. It's, the little curve of your spine. And the first time I sat down with that stupid thing on, I thought, I wonder if I can get my money back. I just paid $86 for a leather small of back holster that I hate. Could I reach it? Yeah. Was it accessible? But it banged on my tailbone. It put pressure on my spine. I couldn't lean forward at all because it profiled,
Right.
And we go through this. It's like adolescence, finding a comfortable method of carry that you want to stick with is so hard when you first start with that. And I think vehicle carry is interesting because you're presented with so many more options, and they're all comfortable, and that's also your safe area as an individual. Think of how much time we spend in our cars. It makes sense to utilize that space and be able to take that protection with us as we travel and go about our daily lives. So
absolutely. So I think that pretty much wraps up the main topic. Again, links in the show notes, especially for Know Your Gun Laws. You want to check that out. Final thoughts, Ebs?
No, be smart about it. Don't be haphazard. Leave it on your seat. Take if you wear your seatbelt, you're doing that because you consider an accident a possibility, even if it's a remote possibility. And it's important to just think things through when it comes to concealment and safety and, the firearm being secure. Is it going to fly out, go anywhere? Can you get to it quickly? If you're in and you have your concealed carry, is it easier? Maybe it's easier to take it out and put it in the cup holder, but can you get to it fast? Can you get it out of the holster if you needed it, in a split second to make that decision? It's really just crossing. You're crossing a bridge from concealed carry on your person individually on foot in your office, whatever your daily scenario is, to being on the road. How is the firearm still available? How is it secure? And how is it safe? Maybe if you're not in the car. And that goes for long guns too.
And I would like to, great points all the way around, Ebs. I would like to hear your solutions. If you're listening to this, head on over to the Gun Guy Radio Facebook page, and you can post a visitor post over there and share any tips or tricks you may have, any experiences, good or bad, share with others, and I'd like to hear your thoughts. Next week, we have a great show. We have a Father's Day special, which coincidentally, Ebs, you and your dad are on.
Yeah, he was so pumped about that. He loved that. I may have said at some point he might get an invitation for This Week in Guns. I can't say whether or not that actually happened, but yeah. He really enjoyed doing that. Love the
cool.
questions and the discussion.
And then we will, on that same episode, we'll also have Natalie Foster and her dad on there.
Oh, nice.
And it's going to be a fantastic episode.
So have you already heard that? Have you heard Dr. Burkholder's voice? Because I've had in my mind what he sounds like.
Oh, he sounds. Who does he sound like to you?
Well, I hope he sounds kind of like Tom Selleck.
Tom Selleck? Oh, yeah. No. It's even better.
Or maybe even like a Johnny Cash or something like that.
He sounds like a famous actor from Texas. I'll just say.
Oh, does he sound like Matthew McConaughey?
No.
Oh, okay. I don't know many famous actors from Texas. Sorry.
So yeah, next week tune into that Father's Day special. It's going to be a great show, and that wraps up the main topic.
Gun Guy Radio says thank you and proudly displays artwork and graphics designed by Ryan Cross of Hunter of Design. HunterofDesign.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is 7-inning stretch time. We invite you to join in singing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game."
Patches, get your patches here. Patriot Patch Company has all your favorite flavors. Tactical, Western, sci-fi, pop culture, hot and ready. Don't forget to wash it down with a Pro Gun custom screen printed t-shirt. Available in sizes medium to 5XL. They're great for any occasion. Patches, get your patches at patriotpatch.co.
If you like this episode and like to keep free pro-gun radio coming at you, please consider supporting Gun Guy Radio through Patreon, patreon.com/week. You can pledge a $1 level, $5, $8, $10, $12, or $15 levels. If you pledge a $1 level, you get some free stickers, $5 levels for free shirt or patches, $8 will let you hang out after the show with the hosts. There's another $8 level, which is a supply drop box full of goodies every 3 months. Then $10 Patch of the Month Club, $12 T-shirt of the Month Club, and then $15 level is Ammo Dump supply drop box. So it's a bigger supply drop box of everything. Could be from cleaning mats to optics to tactical flashlights to swag to whatever we have donated by companies that support Gun Guy Radio. So check it out, patreon.com/gun. And also Patriot Patch Company helps make this episode possible. Check out the new patch pre-orders over at patriotpatch.co. We have 3 new It's Dangerous to Go Alone patches up for pre-order.
Those are cool.
Yeah, we have the coolest 3 to date up there at patriotpatch.co. And also Ryan Cross, Hunter of Design. If you need any kind of graphics, artwork design for your business, your brand, if you need a new website, anything like that, this is what Ryan does for a living. It's he runs the Patriot Patch website and has designed all the awesome artwork you see over there. So very talented individual, and he can help you and your brand out. HunterofDesign.com. Well, Ebbs, where can people connect with you online?
Well, I am still everywhere but the .com, trying to sort out the hack got worse, and I got blue listed. I say blue listed because my URL went blue from the host. So I'm still going round and round with them trying to get it back. But social media, still active as House of Guns, HAUSOFGUNS on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And then the online gun shop where we specialize in Thompson Center Arms, single shot platform products, gunsmithing, accessories, etc. is House of Arms, HAUSOFARMS.com. And that's kind of like supplemental to the Jade job. My dad runs that online gun shop, but still active. The YouTube channel's still there, House of Guns. Haven't published a video in a while just due to life events, but still out there, still shooting, still testing products, and giving my opinion whether it's wanted or not.
Very cool. And if you listen on Apple iTunes, podcast app, anything like that, any podcatcher app, please leave us a review there. Please consider joining the NRA and the Second Amendment Foundation. And don't forget to check out all the other awesome shows here on the Firearms Radio Network. And also shop with our Amazon affiliate link and bookmark firearmsradio.tv/Amazon. And use that every time you shop on Amazon. So, well, that's a wrap. Thank you, Ebbs.
Thanks, Jay. Glad to be a part, man.
And we'll see you next week.
This has been a production of the Firearms Radio Network. You can find more information at firearmsradio.tv.
I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, did he fire 6 shots or only 5? Now, to tell you the truth, I kind of forgot in all this excitement. But being this is the Guns of Hollywood podcast on the most popular pro-gun podcast network in the world and will blow your eardrums clean out, you've got to ask yourself a question. Have you subscribed yet? Well, have you, punk? GunsOfHollywood.com or search Guns of Hollywood on iTunes or your favorite podcatcher app. Punk.